Southport must be a line in the sand. The blunt truth here is that this case is a sign. Britain now faces a new threat. Terrorism has changed.
It's time for answers, the Prime Minister said today, about what happened in this seaside town last summer, about the mistakes and missed chances, and we now know there were many, and also about what terrorism is.
In the past, the predominant threat was highly organised groups with clear political intent, groups like Al-Qaeda. But now, alongside that, we also see acts of extreme violence perpetrated by loners, misfits, young men in their bedroom, accessing all manner of material online, fixated on that extreme violence, seemingly for its own sake.
When I was here last summer, the obvious question that was being asked by so many people was why? Why would he? But there was another question that kept cropping up. Why won't they just say this was a terror attack?
I think the Southport event and the New Orleans events in particular have heightened the need for a review of the definition of terrorism. I doubt if it will change very much, but there may be nuances which will make it better suited to this type of case.
Whether changing the law so more violent crimes are classed as terrorism is a solution to public distrust, or should be, will be a question. Though it's not the only subject now up for review. The public inquiry announced after Axel Rudakubana changed his pleas to guilty yesterday will also examine his contact with multiple agencies, the warning signs and the failings. We now know between October 2019 and May 22, there were 5 calls to Lancashire police from the teenager's home over his behaviour. Each time, he was referred to a multi-agency safeguarding hub. He'd been expelled from school in the October of 2019 for taking a knife in with him. He was 13 at the time. Then, 2 months later, he went to his old school and attacked a child with a hockey stick. Youth Justice, Children's Social Care and Special Educational Needs Services were all involved, as were Child Mental Health Services, assessing him as experiencing anxiety that prevented him leaving his home. Then there were also the 3 referrals within 18 months to the Counter-Terrorism Prevent programme. Each time, Axel Rudakubana was deemed not to meet the threshold for intervention. But despite the public inquiry announced, for the government, a question that keeps being asked. Why was information about the ricin found at the teenager's home and a terror manual not made public much sooner?
Background facts on other cases over the years have been made public after arrest and before trial without prejudice. So why did the Prime Minister not make public some of this background information in August when he knew it?
What was known and what was said will continue to be a question. But later this week, inside a courtroom at least, the focus will shift back to these 3 girls who were murdered when they went to a dance class as the sentence is imposed.